Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Anubis here with the brand new for you guys today. Welcome to the channel. Different video for you guys today. I'm going to do a breakdown of the 4-2-3-1. I have done it before when it comes to my own tactics of the 4-3-3 bracket 2. This isn't my own tactics. It's actually Nick RTFM's 4-2-3-1. But I want to give like a little breakdown video for those who are interested in trying it out and seeing if they'll feel the information for them. More so, this breakdown, I'm going to just talk about what I view as like the perfect like combination of players, what you should be looking for players at key positions, and at the same time how your mindset should be using this kind of formation. A lot of people are a little on the outs of wanting to use formation that they don't have wingers, but when it comes to this kind of formation and how you have it set up, you don't notice not having wingers because your two of your three cams can fill that role of being wingers, just based on like how the tactics themselves play out, and just you yourself moving your players around, and what you're doing with your DMs and with your fullbacks can allow you to not notice that you don't have wingers. So the first thing I want to talk about is personnel. Now, when it comes to the person down the middle, what you really want to have is like an actual true out and out cam. They can play other positions, obviously, but what I mean by true out and out cam is they have the ability to distribute the ball. This is your strongest position right here. This is like right down the middle. This is a very, very important like personnel spot. You want someone who can pass the ball. You want someone who has passing play styles. Doesn't have to be pluses, but just passing play styles in general. Clara, for example, she has incisive, so that's a big one. You really want incisive for down the person who's down the middle. But also you want someone who does have some form of defense. She has 75 defense, which is very, very good for a cam. More so not because you're trying to play defense with the person, but you want them to be able to like win the ball if the ball is near them. At the same time, you want someone who has decent physical. Her physical is 85, so again, you want someone who's going to be able to distribute that ball, has some hold up play. She has press proven, so that's going to add into the hold up play. And then at the same time, you want someone who is going to be a good connector for the left cam and the right cam, and someone who has just the out and out ability to be a clinical finisher, because you will end up getting that ball back to that person to have the shots finished off if your left cam and your right cam don't have an actual available shot. Speaking of your left cam and your right cam, here you can go with what kind of you don't really need to have the exact same thought process, but these people are kind of acting like think of them as your wingers, but they're not actual wingers. Like think of them as just inside forwards. More than anything else, thinking of them as inside forwards. So you want to have personnel who are clinical scorers, who also have passing play styles, because this is a very tiki-taka formation. You do want passing play styles in general when it comes to that front four, and you generally want good passing stats with the front four. When it comes to your left cam, your right cam, you don't really care too much about them being your best passer, because their job is more so to be someone who's going to be smashing finesse shots from outside the box, or getting a little driven shot from inside the box, and also just again taking part in that tiki-taka style. At the same time, you want someone who's quick, someone who's fast, because again they will act kind of like inside force, so they will tend to drift to the right and to the left, to be targets that you can pass to from your DMs and from your fullbacks. So you want people there who you can trust to be very quick. So you tend to see me use Fright Gang here. She has 96 pace. You see me use Lauren James in that spot too, who's at 98 pace. So even on this side, when it comes to Van Persie, he has 93 pace, but with the engine on him, that does go up a little bit. And at the same time, he's more so in this particular spot because he has that finesse shot plus with the 98 shooting, so he'll be able to smack some finesse shots from that spot if you can get them off. So when it comes to like those three cams, it should be self-explanatory on what you want there and how you should have it, but the most important person being the one down the middle. Striker, do whatever you want there. Just someone who has advanced 4++ or Portrait plus also works well too. Someone who can keep up with your cams, aka they need to be fast, they need to have some kind of good dribbling as well, because you want them to be chance creators, and also the good physical comes in handy as well. Pajor has press proven, which also helps out too. I would also say try to factor in someone who has good decent passing. 88 for Pajor isn't amazing, but it's still decent enough. But again, when it comes to the personnel, the things that don't matter as much is, you don't need to have a particular type of striker, just someone who you can trust as your striker. Same thing comes like your center backs. You just want center backs who you can trust. Then you get your keeper, who you can trust. Fullback, same thing. Who do you trust? Who do you like the best in all particular situations. DMs though are important. These are deep line playmakers. In my personal opinion, you want deep line playmakers who are quick, but also very, very defensive. When it comes to Tanaka and when it comes to Johnny, both of them have intercept plus. You'll notice that on both sides. They both have intercept plus. They both actually have decent stamina. Johnny's stamina isn't great, but they both have intercept plus. They both have passing play styles, particularly they have ping pass. Both of them have ping pass plus. So what that means is if and when they win the ball with that intercept plus in the midfield, cutting off passing lanes, you can quickly get those balls off with ping pass to your cams. So it's very, very important. You have good passers who are also just good out and out defenders who are also agile. I think this formation is very tiki-taka, but also a formation where you want agile players. Can you run some big bodies here if you want to, if you're used to how they play, sure. But I feel like it just plays better with not smaller CDMs, but just more agile CDMs. Like Tanaka's 5'10", and Johnny is 6'1", so they're not small guys, but they're also not they're not big bodies like Hoylett. They're good DMs, but your personnel there should be just people who have intercept, people who have ping pass, because you want to distribute that ball after you win it when you cut off the passing lanes. All right, so let's get into the actual tactics, and then we'll get to the gameplay. So the tactical setup, you can see the code up top. Where we're playing the narrow, short passing, and high. Short passing, this is a tiki-taka formation, and I always say this when it comes to tiki-taka formations. Short passing is king when you're playing a formation that is more tiki-taka than not. This is a pass-heavy formation that is also based around possession control, so you do want to have short passing because you don't want your players just like if you play on counter, your players are just going to like make runs over and over again. You don't want them to just be constantly making runs because it kind of funcks with the flow of the formation and the flow of what you're doing. Now, if you're playing with like playmaker instead of shadow strikers, then sure, maybe you could get away with like balance or counter, but balance would be the one. Like if you don't want to use short passing, then balance to me will be the second best option if you're playing a 4-2-3-1. But again, it depends on your personnel. Like if you're going with playmakers, I won't say balance, but if you're going like just pure the same way Nick RTFM plays it when he doing his constant 15-0s, he's playing with 3 shadow strikers. So if you want to play it that way, use short passing. It will come in handy for you. When it comes to everything else, like I said, you want all 3 on shadow striker attack, the deep line playmaker build up for both your DMs, and then the generic setup for your back line. When it comes to your keeper, if you are comfortable with sleeper keeper, do it. Keeper is always personal preference. There's only 2 options: go keeper or sleeper keeper. Go whatever you feel comfortable with. I tend to switch around depending on how gameplay is. If gameplay is feeling like decent, I'll use sleeper keeper because I can actually be okay with it. But if a gameplay feels like ass, I'm going goalkeeper because it's just a more reliable defensive approach, and I would much rather have a defensive approach when gameplay is ass. The same thing comes like fullbacks. I prefer to have my fullbacks on balance, but gameplay is shit today, so they don't defend. If I know gameplay is ass, then I want my defense to just be pure defense because I don't want to like take any risk. But if the gameplay is decent, not good, but just decent, I want my fullbacks on balance. And the reason is, I explained this before in another video. When you have your fullbacks on defend, they come on the inside, which is fine if you're playing against formations where people are constantly going through the middle of your field. But you notice on those left and right flanks, it leaves a hole. So if someone does a counter attack with their wingers, you do have an open position for them to just run down your flank and do a cutback or a cross. And that could be a liability. But when gameplay is ass, you kind of want to just go pure defend. All right, so that's the setup when it comes to the actual team and the breakdown on how you want to play this. This is a formation where, much like the 4-3-3 bracket 2, and just in general 4-3-3s in general, you want to be someone who's actually mechanically good at moving your players with the left bumper and right bumper, as well as just in general playing manual style of football, aka manual defense. If you're looking for a formation that's going to carry you, this ain't the formation that's going to carry you. This is not a 4-2-1-3. This is not a rat formation that's going to carry you. 4-2-1-3 is for all the trash cans who need to be carried by formation. This ain't that. This is a formation where you're going to have to put some work in and flex how actually good you are at the game mechanically. Otherwise, you probably will get ran through if you don't know how to play the formation. That doesn't mean don't play it. I do think you should try it out and get used to it. If you get used to it, you learn the ins and outs of it, you will learn you'll start to love this formation because it becomes a very fun formation when you learn how it works. I always say this comes formations, they might start off rough for you, but give it a few days, give it a weekend league, and once you get all that going, you'll learn to love the formation because you'll learn how to play. You'll learn how your players move, and even when it comes to tactics and like depth and things like that, you can tweak that to your personal preference if you feel like after you played a few games that you are comfortable making certain changes that work better for your play style, because not everyone has the same kind of play style. Play style might be a little different on what you want to do, so you can get away with other things. So let's get to gameplay and show you guys how it works in game. Patience leads to pass your goal. As you can see, Van Persie hanging on the wings. The AI will pull them to that side to play as a wing position, because the AI in this game will always just want to take space. There's space there in the wings, that's where they're going to hang out at for a bit. What a frying gang in that pause. I'm hitting wide a pass, bro. The ball is on my fucking player's foot. Go with Mateo. Like I said, that center person is going to be your most important person. Just couldn't control it. Bruh, play the advantage game. But you see right there what I was talking about when it comes to like someone who has defensive ability. Matteo wins that freaking ball because of the fact that she has that ability to be a defensive player. Look at the patience, look at the build up, watch the goals. Nice run from Johnny. Unwanted freaking Pajor there. Pajor was in position for a great freaking pass. Game didn't allow me to get to her. Again, trying to go to fry game right there. That's not the formation's fault, that's just this game being this game. And that's why people freaking use freaking player locking, because it makes that a lot easier to freaking do those ideal passes, because this game won't allow you to get those passes off. The issue there is the angle she took was just not a good angle. Nice, Mateo. And she kind of went right instead of going straight. There's like no power in that fucking shot, man. Well, oh my god, game. It switched me off Pajor, who has a direct angle to the fucking ball. Move this keeper, bounces back to freaking fry game goal. I don't feel bad if you can move the keeper. There we go, tie game Pajor. Guy's just trying to freaking technical sprint, and that freaking Musiala, which how he got his freaking first goal. Nice movement for a game goal. Nice movement, Pajor goal. Patience leads to the Pajor goal. Good idea. Good idea. Ah, love it. You love to see it. Pajor scores again. Try gang goal. No, it's Pajor. Try gang's on freaking wing. Derp derp. Sorry, I'm seeing dirty blonde hair. Ponytail. Not dirty as in terms like, you know, dirty, but like, you know, the color dirty blonde. Come on. That's a goal from Mateo. If she doesn't come too far inside. She came too far inside. Even when he moved the keeper, you know, again, bailout mechanic. That mostly freaking happens because she came too far inside. Because she just comes in a little bit, not all the way. All right, so that last game was actually a very, very fitting game because not only was it a promotional game, it was a mirror match. We played against the exact same formation. I don't know if you played the exact same tactics, but we played against the exact same formation, and it was a promotion game, so therefore it was going to be way sweaty. But we still won freaking 5-1, and the team did what I needed it to do. As I said, what you mostly see is that person down the middle being your most important and your most lethal player. So Clara Matteo scoring a lot of goals today. Friday game was more of a playmaker. Even though she's on Shadow Striker, she was doing a lot of passing to, you know, create chances for Pajor and Mateo. And whenever freaking, you know, Pajor let it go, it came off of Mateo as well. So Mateo got a lot of assists today. A lot of assists also came from Friday game. Van Persie wasn't as noticeable today. That's mostly because a lot of our games we were playing through that right side, not because the left side was like, you know, not effective, but just again, you know, you kind of play to what your opponent is giving you. Especially for someone who plays to adapt, aka you have your game plan, but what you're doing is like you're just playing the game, and whatever your opponent is allowing you to do, you keep doing that. So if it looks like they're allowing you to play through the right side, you keep playing through the right side. If they're allowing you to play through the left side, you keep playing through the left side. So today we played a lot through the right side because it just seemed like that's where the openings were. The openings were seemingly at that right side spot. Also in that last game, he had Alicia Lehman at left back, and I just posted a review of her. And I know for a fact she's bad as a left back. Like, she's not bad, but she's like she's not good. You know, again, an interview said she's like a 6, and that was as an attacking wing back. As an actual fullback, when he was playing her in his formation, she's probably like a 5, if not worse than that. She doesn't have the defensive traits to, you know, maintain any kind of like help at all. So I was able to like hit him apart on the left side because I know Lehman can't defend. So, you know, that's where we got a lot of our attacks from and came to that last game. For example, it was a promotional game, and it was a game for what you call it. It was a game that was a mirror match. And the thing about promotional games, remember this too. When you play a promotional game, it's not just a promotion game. You're playing against the person in the next division. Usually when it comes to promotion games in this game, that person you're playing against is like maybe like, you know, they either they're like halfway through the next division, or they're like, you know, themselves, you know, they're kind of like teetering on getting demoted or getting promoted. So you're facing someone to get into that division. They're not in the same division as you. They're in a division ahead of you. So again, it's a tougher, air quotes, opponent than you naturally would in division you're playing in. So generally, the point here is, will this make you a 15-0 player? No, because that's not how formations work. Formations, when it comes to, let's say, the 4-2-1-3, aka the bitch made rat formation that carries people. If you are a 6-win player in a weekend league and you play the 4-2-1-3, it might make you an 8-win player, but it won't make you a 10-win player. It won't make you a 15-win player. This formation is very, very good. It's one of my favorite formation play in this game. Like, I didn't play this formation at all until recently, and I love this formation. It's so fun. Like, it has moved into my top three. My top three used to be the 4-3-3 bracket 2, the 4-3-3 bracket 4, and the 4-4-1-1, and the 4-5-1. This is not my top three. My top three right now is the 4-3-3 bracket 2 still, and then it's this formation. This is a very, very fun formation, and I recommend it to anyone who just wants to have fun and try something new. If you got like a lot of cams, you're trying to figure out how to get all those cams involved, go ahead and play this formation. Even when it comes to like comparing it to Nick, when he plays this formation, he plays the Xavi card you got from the cup in this spot. He plays Marta right here, and he plays Ribéry right here. So again, you're seeing what I said before about agile players. Agile players who are good at passing, good at taking finesse shots, and just good at tiki-taka style of football. If you don't play tiki-taka football, this formation will suck for you. That last guy I played against, his entire game plan was, at least on attack, his game plan was to just try to technical sprint with Musiala the entire game. He got one of his goals that way, but I won 5-1. He quit. So yeah, he got one goal, just technical sprinting, on kickoff Musiala, and now it's his goal. His goal is trying to get kickoff goals, just doing technical sprint with Musiala. So if that's just what you're gonna do, yeah, you're gonna be like, oh, this formation fucking sucks. Yeah, because you're not playing the game. You're just trying to manipulate kickoff glitches and technical sprint way to go. You're not playing football. You're not trying to do any kind of build up play. The guy had Modric, and he had freaking Kevin De Bruyne. Like, he has 3 like great cards on Musiala as well. I think he played Modric as a freaking DM. But he had a good team, but he's not trying to create football plays with that team. He's just trying to try to abuse a gimmick. If that's your play style, you won't like this formation. This is people who want to play football. With all that said, that's it for me. Hope I provided information enough for you guys to consider the 4-2-3-1 as formation play. I'll be waiting to my archer. See you guys. We'll see you guys out of here. Deuces.